everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk, and thank you for joining me for the final Sale-A-Bration Saturday of 2017, because next Friday, 31st of March, is the last day of Sale-A-Bration for this year, and that means it is the last day that you can choose something for free from this catalogue every time you spend £45 in one transaction before postage and packing, and that can be from any of our catalogues. It can even be from clearance rack. It only has to be £45 or more in one go. So if there's anything that you've been having your eye on in this little booklet here or in the supplement, then don't hang around, because they're not going to be here much longer. Okay, and as well as being Sale-A-Bration Saturday, it's also Simply Sketched Saturday. Now, the Simply Sketched Saturday, it's a blog hop to which I belong. It's a group of Stampin' Up demonstrators that are in the same team as myself, and we take it in turns to set a sketch challenge for one another, and we then all post what we've made, and we link to each other's blogs. And if you start at mine, for example, link is below this video, then you can simply work your way from link to link and take a look and see what we've all been up to. So this is the sketch that we've been set for today, and I thought that I would combine the two by using something from the Sale-A-Bration catalogue to make my Simply Sketched card. So what I've decided to use is the Carried Away papers, which are on page 7. Now, I have absolutely loved using these, and I couldn't resist using them for one last project, because this made me think of balloons as soon as I saw it. So let's see how it all works out, shall we? Here's what I'm going to be using today. I've got a card base, which is just a piece of Whisper White card, and I've cut it to 4 inches by 11.5 and scored and folded at 5 3/4. And I've got a mat of the Carried Away DSP, and that is 3 3/4 by 5.5. And I've also got some little scraps from the same set, and these 3 here are cut to very specific widths, not so much the length. This one's 2 inches wide, this one's 1.5 inches, and this one's 1 inch, and this one is about 3 inches square. I've got a couple of little scraps of Whisper White for stamping on, and I've got a scrap of Night of Navy. I'm using my triple banner punch, or my banner triple punch, and I have the Lift Me Up stamps and Night of Navy ink, and the Up and Away Thinlet dies. I've done some preparation ahead of time. I've stamped out my balloons, and I've got my Night of Navy card ready with my intricate balloon die cut, and I'm going to go over to the big shot in a moment and cut these out. But I just wanted to show you a little tip for getting the die lined up with the stamped image. Now, I saw this one on Craft Television years ago, and I forgot all about it until I saw it on YouTube, and I think it was Jennifer Maguire demonstrated it again, and I thought, do you know what, I've been struggling lining up this particular Stampin' Die to the extent where sometimes I've been having to take a scissors to it and trim it down afterwards. But this, I'm hoping, should help me to get it right. So what I've done is I've just had a piece of scrap card, something was left over from a previous project, and I've cut the balloon shapes out of it, and I've sort of created a sort of frame, because it's this bit in the middle that I'm interested in. Now I'm seating the die back into the frame, so it just fits there nicely. It just kind of sits inside, and I've got a piece of low tack tape which has been on my jumper, and I'm just going to stick the whole thing down. Now when I take that over to my big shot, that should enable me to get a perfectly aligned image. So fingers crossed, and I'm going to do the same with these two, and I'm going to go and do that now, and I will be right back. Here's the result. and I'm very pleased with that. That one didn't come out quite so well, but that was my fault because I kind of rushed settling it in place a bit, and that's a technique I'm definitely going to remember. I'm definitely going to use that one again. I've also got my more intricate balloon here, and I've just stuck it onto that piece of DSP. Now, I did film it, or I thought I'd filmed it, but I forgot to turn the camera on. So I did my usual trick of spreading glue on the back of my hand and dabbing my die cut into the glue that I'd spread on my hand. And as I always say, if you've got sensitive skin, don't do that, or unless you put a glove or something on, a rubber glove or something on. But you could spread a piece of plastic, that would work as well, or the sponge technique, I understand, is very highly thought of. Alright, so I'm now ready to start assembling the card. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to colour these. I haven't decided yet. I will, I'll make a decision in a moment or two. Alright, so here is my card base, and I've got my backer piece here, so I'm just going to get my snail out of its little pot here. There it is. And I'm running out of snail actually. I'll be lucky if I get through this project without having to change it, but so far so good. Okay, and we've got the wet glue waiting in the wings just in case. That's fine. Right, so that's my background mat in place. Right, now I'm going to take the largest of my strips and my banner triple, or triple banner punch, and I'm just going to centre that in between the guides there, and punch, and that's my first banner ready to go onto my card. I'm just going to bring it in slightly from the edge, but I'm going to line it up with the top of the card. So, you know what? Not going to risk the snail. I have fuse here. I shall use that instead because that is very nearly exhausted. That's pretty much gone, I think. Okay. So, now fast fuse is much stronger than you need for this project, but I don't think I'm going to have enough snail to make it, so I'm not going to risk it. Okay, and I'm just leaving that loose. I mean, I could stick it down, but I'm not going to, because there's going to be other stuff on top that's going to hold it in place. So there. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to go on, this is my 1.5 inch piece, and same deal, it goes in through the guidelines and snip it, and I'm going to use this one with this pattern upward because this piece is actually the same, cut from the same sheet, and I'm just going to use the other side of it just for a bit of variety. Okay, so same again, bit of snail, and this time I think I'll just go down the middle, just like so. Now the trick with snail always is a very, very light touch. It is very, very sticky, and it doesn't take much pressure to make it work. Okay, so if you try and really press down on it, you're going to get into trouble because you're applying much more pressure than needs to happen there. Okay, and finally this piece. So same thing again, it goes in through the guidelines, and right, now let's see if I need to chop any off that, because I think I might. Yeah, that's about 3/4 of an inch, 5/8, something like that. That's just a little bit too long for the top of the card, so I'm just going to just cut straight across there and apply this in place. So that's going to sit kind of about there, and I'm following the sketch pretty closely actually. The great thing about the sketch challenges is that you do whatever kind of makes you happy with them. and but I'm actually following this quite closely. I'm kind of sticking to the rules. Okay, so let's put my big balloon around about there, and fast fuse running. Come on, there you go. And I have been told that one of the tricks to getting fast fuse to behave itself is to alternate the way in which you do the little flick off at the end. So it's, the last time I flicked away from myself, towards myself, this time I'm going to flick away. And that tries that. The theory is that that keeps it kind of centered. Okay, so I'm going to put that one around about there, I think. And I'm going to have this balloon off here like that. Maybe down a little bit. Okay, and one of the little baby ones, little teeny tiny ones, that one's going to go there as well. So let's put that just like that. Okay, now the sketch calls for another one around about there, but to me that doesn't make sense with it being in front, so I'm going to tuck it behind, just like that. And because that wasn't stuck down on all sides, I can do that, because, you know, to me it doesn't make sense for that one to be in front of that one. Okay, so that's the background, so all I have to do now is the sentiment. I've got my last scrap of Whisper White here, and I'm just going to stamp my sentiment onto the front, and it says, "Hope your day is on cloud 9. Happy birthday." Okay, so I'm going to try and get this straight, but I've cut my card oversized, so if I don't, I can just chop down my piece of Whisper White until it is straight. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to allow time for the ink to transfer. And right, so I'm just going to trim this down now to the size that I want it to be. I've trimmed that down to the size that I want it to be, and I just want to round off the corners now to follow the sketch. So I've got my little corner rounder punch here. I'm being careful about how I seat my my bit of card into the jaws of the rounder, because I want it to be snug. I don't want it to wobble around and give me an uneven and wonky corner like that one is. You see that I didn't want that to happen, so I'm just going to trim that up a bit. And yeah, okay, we can fix it. Okay, so it's not going to be perfect, but I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of ease it in there. Okay, I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose to show you how to fix it. Okay. Yeah, of course I did. Right. Moving swiftly on. Right, and I'm going to take a little bit of liberty, I think, with the placement of the sentiment. I'm going to move it over that way a little bit. I'm going to move it over to that side of the card, rather than being centered as the sketch shows, because I like it better that way, and it's my card. Nobody can tell me otherwise. As I always say, there are no stamping police. And I'm just going to pop that one off-centered slightly, or shall I? Yeah, do you know what? I think I've changed my mind again. I think I'll put that there. Just like up slightly. There you go. And that's it. Card is done. So there it is. There's the finished card, and I'm just going to bring back the sketch so that you can see what I was aiming for. What do you think? Did I achieve it? Leave me a comment below, let me know. And if you've liked this video, then don't forget to click that like button while you're there, and even subscribe or share this video. I'd be very, very pleased if you did. If you want to visit my blog and from there work your way around the blog hop and see what my teammates have been up to, then the link directly to the blog hop is below this video. But that is it for now. I will be posting more videos soon, and I hope that you'll come back and join me. Bye bye.